Hi, my name is Chad Wolf, and I'm here to introduce to you DC Revolution. The game started actually as a card game that I had called DC Evolution. I later changed that into a video game due to my love of video games and really wanted to try a different type of interface to get people involved because video games I found always was a passion of mine and it was just more fun. Ultimately, though, as I went through the initial design document, it became a challenge because what I came up with, which I enjoyed, was kind of along the same lines of SimCity, but it was a one-player game that wasn't a game. It was a simulation, and there was really too many things involved to get the user to really understand what was going on. It was too much. As an introductory type game, too many details, and people got lost in the minutia essentially. So I threw it all away and I rebuilt it as DC Revolution, which is now a board game. It's a board game that gives the players different actions through the different verbs they have available to them. So we start off, it's a multiplayer game, up to 4 players as initially designed. We start off in the start triangle. They roll the dice and they advance their token that number of spaces. They then spin the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune it impacts your overall score financially because in the end, a distribution center is all about money. We don't make any money, but we can save money because we can perform against a budget. And that's based off our productivity levels, based off of how we consume supplies and how well we maintain our hardware and systems. So ultimately that's repair parts and how often we have to use that. But the Wheel of Fortune then gives you a financial performance for the day, either positive or negative X number of dollars to budget. The last spot on the Wheel of Fortune is the power play. So anyone that lands on that spot can select a player that might be doing very well and move them back to the very beginning of the game where they lose all their money and you have to start over. So that's the whole notion of the power play. Further, as you progress level by level on the game board, players are given a continuous improvement project. A continuous improvement project helps you because you advance in methods and systems that you've got, which will actually then increase your performance and your financial performance, if you will. Starting off with obtaining forklifts, whereas before you just had pallet jacks. Having a warehouse management system. Instead of relying on paper, spreadsheets, things like that, you now actually have a real warehouse management system to integrate your supplies and the amount of product you have. Having a conveyor system, being allowed to move product through mechanized fashions versus just one person or through forklifts. Having a pick-to-light or voice-directed picking operation significantly impacts your quality, which is your inaccuracy score, and also impacts your productivity. Finally, RFID, radio frequency identification, eliminates lost product, and for those that have seen anything in distribution, trying to find products sometimes, a perfect analogy is the Raiders of the Lost Ark at the very end of the movie where the Ark is placed in an army warehouse somewhere amongst thousands of other boxes. And it's kind of like that. Sometimes we have to find a needle in a haystack in a distribution center. So that's very, very frustrating. And last but not least is DC 2020 Prototype. You've got all the toys and your performance is significantly improved. So that's kind of the different levels as you progress through the game. Also, these little spots right here, which are called the Opportunity Knocks. If you land on one of these locations, you draw from a bunch of cards that are created. And the Opportunity Knocks cards introduces you to other key concepts or situations that can arise on a daily basis, but also your key performance indicators. Things that can happen like a VIP visit. Someone's showing up from the corporate headquarters and you've got to spend extra time to clean up. Doesn't help you for volume, actually hurts you, and it will negatively impact your performance. Conveyor failure, major problem. You'll actually lose your production again, and you'll lose money. Having extra volume, so overtime is called, and you actually are producing more units. This typically tends to help your financial performance because you get more units through the building, which will drive your productivity numbers. Having a loss of corrugate, so I call it corrugate cancer. All of a sudden, your remaining boxes you have to ship out, they're all moldy and wet from a fire main break, whatever it might be. Well, now you're going to lose time because you don't have any more corrugate and you have to obtain and source more. So at the end of the day, lots of different issues that can come up that'll negatively impact or positively impact your performance. The key performance indicators, things like your inventory adjustments, so your accuracy of your product, OSHA recordable rates for safety, certainly safety issues if you have a lot of OSHA recordable incidents. Your workers' compensation claims are going to be very, 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 very high, which will take a big dent in your actual performance for the DC from a financial perspective. Cartons per trailer, so on the transportation side, how well are you packing your outbound trailers to maximize cube? All those types of notions. So that's really kind of the game itself as far as and how it works. To win the game, whoever gets to the end state, all the way in the end, with the most amount of money, they win. So that's how you win. And along the way, you get a chance to learn new distribution concepts you may not have heard, talk with people about it, and have fun in the process. The last two things I'll talk to you about are shortcuts. So there's one right here called the calculated risk, and here's the money shot. And this is all about engineered standards and incentives and your knowledge of those. So understanding how an engineered standard can impact performance from the distribution center and how that'll impact your associates for money and your performance for the building. So that's it in a nutshell. As a great opportunity to expose people to distribution concepts, because at this point there is no such thing. I have never seen any game on the market today that will teach people about core distribution concepts and KPIs. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Buy the game and have fun.